control. That single word separates those who win in life from those who constantly think about it. How many times have you watched someone ruin an opportunity, not because they weren't talented, not because they weren't smart, but because they couldn't control their own mouth? They spoke too soon, said too much, or let their emotions pour out. And in that moment, they destroyed trust, respect, and credibility. Now think about the mood you carry. Your mood controls the room before you even open your mouth. People can feel it. Walk in angry, bitter, or emotional, and you hand over your power before the conversation even begins. Walk in calm, collected, and centered, and suddenly people lean in, respect you, and even adjust themselves to your energy. The strongest person in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who controls their mood. And then there's money. Money isn't just about buying things. It's about freedom. Control your money, and you control your choices. Lose control of your money, and you hand over your life to debt, stress, and dependence. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much discipline you have in handling it. The truth is, life is testing you every single day through these three areas: your mouth, your mood, and your money. They are the three doors to either power or destruction. If you can't control them, you'll always find yourself stuck, wondering why opportunities keep slipping away, why people don't take you seriously, why freedom always feels just out of reach. But when you learn to control them, when you master your words, your emotions, and your finances, you step into a level of power very few people ever reach. So the question is, are you controlling your mouth, your mood, and your money? Or are they controlling you? Because your answer determines not just who you are today, but who you will become tomorrow. Your mouth is the most dangerous weapon you own. It can either open doors or slam them shut forever. Every single word that comes out of your mouth is either building your reputation or breaking it down piece by piece. And here's the truth most people don't realize. People may forget what you wore, what you did, even what you achieved, but they never forget how you made them feel with your words. They remember the sharpness of an insult, the sting of careless criticism, or the power of something said at exactly the right moment. That's why controlling your mouth is not optional. It is essential if you want to be respected, trusted, and taken seriously in life. Most people talk too much. They reveal everything. They overshare, and they don't realize that the more you say, the more ammunition you hand to the world. When you constantly explain yourself, defend yourself, or speak just to fill silence, you are teaching people how to treat you. You're telling them you're insecure. You're showing them you need validation. You're proving that you don't have control over your emotions. That's why silence is powerful. When you don't rush to speak, people lean in. They wonder what you're thinking. They measure you as someone who isn't impulsive, but deliberate, someone who doesn't need to prove anything, because strength speaks without noise. Think about the times you've spoken too quickly and regretted it. Maybe it was an argument where you said something you didn't mean but couldn't take back. Maybe it was a meeting where you revealed too much and later realized people used your own words against you. Or maybe it was a conversation with someone you thought you could trust, only to see your private thoughts repeated and twisted later on. Every time you lose control of your mouth, you give away pieces of your power. You're letting others define you instead of you defining yourself. Controlling your mouth isn't about being silent forever. It's about mastering when and how you speak. It's about understanding that your words carry weight, and if you throw them around carelessly, you lose that weight. A person who speaks rarely but with precision is remembered. A person who never stops talking fades into noise. Which one do you want to be? The noise that people tune out, or the voice that cuts through and demands attention? There's another layer to this: the image your words create. If you are constantly gossiping, complaining, or tearing others down, do you know what people think of you? They don't think you're strong. They don't think you're bold. They think you're weak, insecure, and untrustworthy. Because if you'll speak that way about others, people know you'll speak that way about them when they're not around. But if you're the one who speaks with discipline, who avoids gossip, who doesn't waste energy on pointless chatter, who speaks with intention, then people start to trust you. They see you as someone with standards, someone who values themselves enough to guard their mouth. And make no mistake, your mouth is tied to your opportunities. Promotions are won and lost on words. Relationships are built or destroyed on words. Respect is earned or shattered by words. I've seen people lose life-changing opportunities simply because they couldn't control what they said in a moment of weakness, pride, or anger. And I've seen others rise above because they knew when to stay quiet, when to respond, and when to let their silence speak for them. Here's the harsh truth. Not everyone deserves to hear what you're thinking. Not everyone deserves access to your feelings, your fears, or your frustrations. When you constantly pour out every detail of your life, you don't just weaken your image, you dilute your power. The more mystery you keep, the more control you have. People respect what they can't easily read. They respect what they can't easily predict. That's why restraint isn't weakness. It's strength disguised as stillness. Look at the people who command the most respect. They aren't the ones running their mouths all the time. They aren't the ones telling the world everything about themselves. They are the ones who know how to hold back, how to let others talk, how to observe and measure before responding. They speak less, but when they do, everyone listens. That's the power of mastering your mouth. Now ask yourself, what image are you creating every day with your words? Are you seen as someone who speaks with clarity, who chooses words carefully, who communicates strength? Or are you seen as someone who blurts, overshares, and lets their mouth run without thought? Because that image is shaping how people treat you, whether you realize it or not. The discipline of controlling your mouth is really the discipline of controlling yourself. It is proof that you don't just react, you choose. It's a reflection of your ability to think before you act, to hold back when emotions push you to explode, to protect your reputation in every environment. And the more you master this, the more untouchable you become. Your mouth can either betray you or elevate you. It can either make people dismiss you or make them remember you. That choice is yours every single time you open it. So stop letting words slip out carelessly. Stop revealing everything. Stop using your mouth as a weapon against yourself. Use it as a tool of precision, of strength, of power. Because at the end of the day, your mouth defines your image, and your image defines your future. Your mood is the silent message you send to the world before you even speak a word. It walks into the room ahead of you, and people feel it instantly. You don't need to announce you're angry, bitter, jealous, or insecure. Your mood betrays you. It shows up in the way you sit, the way you stand, the way you breathe, the way you look at others. And the reality is this, your mood determines how people respond to you, how much influence you carry, and ultimately the kind of opportunities that come your way. Think about it. Have you ever met someone whose very presence drains the energy out of the room? They don't have to complain or even say a word. Their face, their body language, the heaviness they bring, it's like a storm cloud following them. People feel it and they want to escape. Now, on the other hand, think of someone whose calm, grounded, confident presence makes you feel at ease. You trust them more. You respect them more. You lean in when they speak. Not because of their title, not because of their achievements, but because of the energy they carry. That's the power of mood. Your mood is not just about you, it influences everyone around you. When you walk into a meeting frustrated, irritated, or distracted, people pick up on it. When you let your emotions control you, you hand over your leadership, your influence, and your credibility. The strongest people in the world are not the ones who never feel emotions. They're the ones who know how to control the emotions that rise inside them. They understand that feelings are temporary, but the damage caused by losing control can be permanent. One bad mood can destroy relationships, opportunities, and even your reputation. How many times have you seen someone explode in anger and immediately lose respect? Or someone sulk and withdraw in silence, making others uncomfortable and weakening their own authority? Your mood is always sending a message, whether you want it to or not, and if you don't control it, it will control you. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't often comes down to emotional discipline. The world will test you. People will trigger you. Life will throw disappointments, insults, and frustrations at you every single day. But if you let every event decide your mood, you're nothing more than a puppet pulled by the strings of circumstance. The powerful person is the one who decides, I will not let this situation steal my presence, my calm, my focus. That's not indifference. It's control. Imagine this scenario. Two people go through the exact same setback at work. One reacts with bitterness, negativity, and blame. They spread that energy to everyone around them. The other acknowledges the setback, keeps their composure, and moves forward with focus. Who do you think earns more respect? Who do you think others want to work with? Who do you think opportunities will flow to? It's the second person every time. Because outcomes are not dictated by the problem, it's your mood in facing the problem that decides whether you sink or rise. Your mood also dictates how clearly you can think. When you're angry, emotional, or unstable, you can't make sharp decisions. Your judgment is clouded. You act on impulse instead of strategy. But when you control your mood, you control your mind. You think with clarity, you respond with intention, and you maintain the ability to see the bigger picture. That is why some people seem unshakable in chaos. They've trained themselves not to give away control of their mood. Now, let's go deeper. People mirror your mood. If you walk into your home with frustration, the entire house feels it. If you enter your workplace anxious, your team absorbs it. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly setting the emotional temperature of the environments you step into. Leaders know this. That's why the best leaders don't walk in with panic, anger, or despair, even when things are falling apart. They walk in steady, focused, and calm. Because if the leader loses control, everyone loses control. Ask yourself this. How many times have you ruined your own day because you woke up and let your mood spiral? Maybe traffic annoyed you. Maybe one message upset you. Maybe one small inconvenience set you off. And instead of containing it, you let it spread. Before you knew it, the whole day felt ruined. That wasn't life's fault. That was mood control. And until you master it, your life will always feel unstable. Here's the truth. Moods are contagious. They can either make people want to follow you, trust you, and respect you, or avoid you, dismiss you, and doubt you. You don't need to fake happiness or plaster on a false smile. What you need is emotional strength, the ability to steady yourself, to breathe, to process, and then to decide, I will not let this mood define me. Because when you control your mood, you control the energy you give off, and that energy shapes your outcomes. Your mood will either open doors or close them. It will either elevate your reputation or destroy it. It will either attract people to you or push them away. The choice is yours. You don't have to be at the mercy of feelings. You can decide that no matter what life throws at you, your mood will remain a reflection of strength, control, and resilience. That is what separates those who are respected from those who are dismissed. So the next time you feel your mood slipping, pause. Ask yourself, what message am I sending right now? What image am I projecting? And remember, your mood is not just a reaction. It is a decision. And that decision dictates your outcomes in every area of your life. Money is not just paper, coins, or numbers on a screen. It is a mirror of your discipline. It reflects how much control you have over yourself, how much you value your future, and how much you respect your own freedom. The way you handle money speaks louder than the words you say about your goals. Because money doesn't lie. Your bank account, your spending habits, your savings, and your debt. All of it tells the truth about the kind of person you are when no one is watching. Think about it. Most people want more money, but very few are willing to practice the discipline required to manage it. They chase higher paychecks, but the moment they get more, they spend more. They live in cycles of working hard, spending fast, and wondering why they're still stuck. The problem isn't income. The problem is control. When you lack control over money, you end up a slave to it. But when you build discipline, money becomes your servant. It works for you. It buys your freedom. It creates options. And it gives you power. Discipline with money starts with awareness. Every single dollar you earn has a purpose. Whether you assign it one or not, undisciplined people let money slip through their fingers on impulse buys, emotional spending, or to impress people who don't even matter. They think small pleasures are harmless until those habits pile up into mountains of financial stress. Discipline means telling your money where to go before it disappears. It means creating structure, setting boundaries, and making intentional choices that align with your future, not your fleeting moods. And that's the real test. Money will always tempt your mood. You've had a hard day, so you justify spending. You're celebrating something, so you splurge without thinking. You see someone else showing off their lifestyle, and you feel pressure to keep up. That's not freedom, that's weakness. Real freedom is looking at your money and saying, I control you. You don't control me. Because the truth is, the world doesn't care about your intentions. It only sees the results of your discipline. Money is also connected to respect. How can you expect others to trust you with opportunities, with leadership, with bigger responsibilities, if you can't even manage your own finances? A person who spends recklessly, who lives paycheck to paycheck without a plan, who is buried in unnecessary debt, is telling the world they lack control. But a person who saves, invests, and lives within their means demonstrates strength, patience, and vision. People respect that kind of discipline, even if they don't say it out loud. The harsh truth is this: most financial problems are not income problems, they're behavior problems. You can give someone more money, and if they're undisciplined, they'll still end up broke. That's why you hear stories of lottery winners going bankrupt or celebrities making millions, yet losing it all. Income grows opportunities, but discipline sustains them. Without discipline, money will always slip away no matter how much you have. Ask yourself honestly, do you own your money? Or does your money own you? Do you spend to feel good in the moment? Or do you spend to build a life you can be proud of, long term? Every financial choice you make is a vote for the kind of future you'll live. Overspending, debt, and impulsive purchases are not just habits, they are cracks in the foundation of your freedom. But every saving habit, every wise investment, every choice to delay gratification is a brick in the fortress of independence you are building. Here's what many people don't realize. Discipline with money isn't about deprivation. It's about direction. It's not about saying no to everything. It's about saying yes to the right things at the right time. When you control your money, you can still enjoy life, but you do it without the weight of regret. You can travel without debt following you. You can buy without panic. You can give without fear. That is the true reward of discipline. Not more things, but more freedom. Money discipline also sharpens your character. It teaches you patience when you wait to buy instead of rushing. It builds resilience when you resist the pressure to keep up with others. It develops focus when you choose long-term growth over short-term pleasure. In many ways, your financial habits are training you for life. If you are sloppy with money, chances are you're sloppy with time, with energy, with opportunities. But if you are disciplined with money, that discipline spills into every other area of your life. We live in a world where people flaunt luxury but hide debt, where appearances matter more than financial stability, where people would rather look rich than actually be rich. Discipline breaks you out of that trap. It forces you to stop comparing, to stop living for the approval of others, and to start building real wealth. The kind that doesn't need to be advertised because it speaks for itself. So understand this clearly. Money is not the goal. Control is, because once you control your money, you control your choices. And once you control your choices, you control your life. Without discipline, you'll always be stuck in cycles of stress, dependence, and regret. With discipline, you gain freedom, respect, and peace of mind. Your money reflects your discipline. It shows whether you think like a child chasing instant pleasure or like a leader building lasting power. It shows whether you are in control of your future or at the mercy of your impulses. So every time you spend, save, or invest, remember you are not just moving money, you are shaping the story of your life. And the discipline you practice today will decide whether tomorrow you live in chains or in freedom. There are 3 forces that silently dictate the direction of your life: your mouth, your mood, and your money. Each on its own has the power to shape your opportunities, your relationships, and your freedom. But when you combine them, when you master all 3 together, you create something far greater than control. You create power. This triangle of power is not about dominating others. It's about dominating yourself. It's about building the kind of discipline that makes you unshakable, untouchable, and unstoppable. Think about your mouth. Every word you speak either builds or destroys. Words are currency. You spend them and the return can either be respect, opportunity, and influence, or it can be conflict, mistrust, and regret. If you can't control your mouth, if you always have to express every thought, every emotion, every frustration, then you give your power away. People start to see you as careless, impulsive, and weak. But when you master silence, when you know when to speak and when to hold back, you command attention. Your words carry weight because they are chosen, not scattered. Control of the mouth builds credibility, and credibility is the foundation of influence. Now look at your mood. Your mood sets the temperature of every room you walk into. You can either bring chaos or calm. You can either be the storm or the anchor. The truth is, people are constantly watching how you react. They measure your strength, not in what you say you can handle, but in how you carry yourself when things go wrong. If your mood is unstable, if you're easily triggered, if you let emotions run your decisions, then you're predictable and weak in the eyes of others. But if you can stay steady, calm in pressure, composed in conflict, unshaken in crisis, you become the person others rely on. You earn trust without asking for it. Control of mood builds presence, and presence is the foundation of leadership. And then there's money. Money is not just about wealth, it's about discipline. Your financial habits reveal who you really are behind the mask. Do you spend recklessly to impress others, or do you invest in yourself and your future? Do you live in chaos with your money, or do you live with order and structure? Because here's the reality. If you can't control your money will control you. It will dictate your choices, limit your opportunities, and keep you enslaved to stress and dependence. But if you master money, if you save, invest, and spend with intention, you buy freedom. You gain the ability to walk away from toxic environments, to take risks, to create security. Control of money builds independence, and independence is the foundation of freedom. Now, imagine what happens when these three forces align. A controlled mouth means your words work for you, not against you. A controlled mood means your energy commands respect and steadiness. A controlled money system means you are not dependent, not desperate, not chained. Together, they create a triangle of power that shields you from weakness and positions you for greatness. Without this triangle, people collapse under pressure. They ruin relationships because they couldn't control their tongue. They lose opportunities because they couldn't control their temper. They stay stuck in places they hate because they couldn't control their spending. Life doesn't destroy them. Their lack of control does. But with this triangle, you rise. You walk into rooms differently. You face challenges differently. You hold yourself differently. People sense something about you. They can't always explain it, but they feel it. They know you are not easily moved, not easily shaken, not easily played. The triangle of power also builds consistency. Most people live scattered lives. They succeed in one area, but fail in another. They have money, but no control over their mouth. So they burn bridges. They control their mood, but lack financial discipline. So they live trapped. They speak well, but can't manage their emotions. So no one takes them seriously. But when you align all three, you stop leaking power. You become whole, balanced, and steady. That balance makes you unstoppable because there are no cracks in your foundation for life to exploit. This triangle is also a test of character. Anyone can appear strong in one area for a moment, but true mastery is demonstrated in the long term. Can you consistently hold your tongue when it's easier to explode? Can you consistently carry a steady mood when chaos surrounds you? Can you consistently resist spending for instant gratification and instead build something lasting? The person who can do all three doesn't just survive, they thrive. They don't just adapt, they lead. They don't just talk about success, they embody it. Here's the beauty of the triangle. It's within your reach. You don't need luck. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect circumstances. You need discipline. Discipline to pause before you speak. Discipline to breathe before you react. Discipline to think before you spend. Every day is a chance to practice. Every moment is a chance to strengthen one side of the triangle. And as you do, the structure of your life becomes stronger, more unshakable. If you're struggling right now, if life feels out of control, it's often because one or more sides of your triangle are weak. Maybe you keep talking too much, revealing too much, giving people weapons to use against you. Maybe you let your mood swing like a pendulum, making you unstable and unpredictable. Maybe you spend money as fast as you earn it, trapping yourself in cycles of stress. Strengthen the weak side. Reinforce it with discipline. Over time, your triangle will stabilize, and with it, your life. Mastering your mouth. Your mood and your money is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about recognizing that control in these areas is the gateway to respect, freedom, and peace of mind. People admire power, but real power is not about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself. When you do, the world begins to treat you differently, not because you asked, but because you earned it. The triangle of power, mouth, mood, and money will either be your prison or your protection. The choice is yours. You can live careless, emotional, and undisciplined and pay the price for it every day. Or you can live with control, strength, and intention and reap the rewards of freedom, respect, and peace. Your life is already telling the story of how you handle these three. The only question is, what story will it tell tomorrow? Power is a word people chase endlessly. They want power over others, power over circumstances, power over outcomes. They think power is about having authority, money, or status. But the highest and rarest form of power is not external. It's internal. It's self-control, because the person who can control themselves cannot be defeated, cannot be manipulated, and cannot be broken. External power can be stripped away, but self-control is unshakable. It is the armor that shields you, the compass that guides you, and the fire that fuels you. Think about the people you've seen in life who are truly respected. It's not the loudest one in the room. It's not the one who flexes their wealth or their title. It's the one who is steady, measured, unshaken when everyone else is losing their minds. That person exudes strength because they are not slaves to impulse. They are not tossed around by emotion. They are not drained by the need to react or prove themselves. Their control is their crown. That's why people notice them without them even asking for attention. Self-control shows up in your words. Anyone can talk, anyone can lash out, but not everyone can pause, measure their response, and speak with intention. When you control your mouth, you separate yourself from the average. You don't waste words, you don't overshare, and you don't hand people ammunition to use against you. Every word is deliberate, and deliberate words build influence. Self-control over your mouth makes you respected, and respect is power. Self-control shows up in your emotions. We all feel anger, sadness, frustration, joy, excitement, but not everyone knows how to handle those emotions. Most people let their moods control their actions. They say things they regret, they lash out, they quit too soon, they let anger or fear push them into bad decisions. But the person who has self-control doesn't let their emotions take the wheel. They acknowledge their feelings, but they don't let feelings dictate outcomes. That control creates calm under pressure, and calm under pressure is rare. In fact, it's so rare that when you show it, people trust you more, lean on you more, and follow you more. Self-control over your mood makes you steady, and steadiness is power. Self-control shows up in your money. Money is one of the clearest mirrors of discipline. Most people think money problems come from not having enough. The truth, money problems come from not managing what you already have. People who lack self-control spend without thinking, chase appearances, or let debt chain them down. They are constantly stressed because their money controls them. But when you have financial self-control, you're not a slave to impulse. You know when to spend, when to save, and when to invest. That control gives you options. And options are freedom. Freedom to say no. Freedom to walk away. Freedom to choose. Self-control over money makes you independent. And independence is power. Now, put all these together, words, emotions, money, and you see the truth. Power is not about controlling the outside world. It's about controlling the inside world. It's about mastering yourself so fully that nothing outside of you can shake your foundation. People spend their lives trying to change the world, trying to bend others to their will. But the ones who rise, the ones who thrive, the ones who endure, are those who focus on the only thing they can truly control, themselves. Self-control also protects you. When you lack it, you're exposed. If someone knows you can't control your anger, they'll provoke you. If they know you overshare, they'll manipulate you. If they know you're reckless with money, they'll exploit you. Lack of control makes you predictable, and predictable people are easy to play. But when you are disciplined, when you guard your tongue, when you steady your emotions, when you manage your money, you become untouchable. Nobody can bait you. Nobody can manipulate you. Nobody can corner you. That is real power. The challenge with self-control is that it's not flashy. It's not loud. It doesn't give instant gratification. It requires patience, discipline, and consistency. But that's why it's rare. Most people would rather indulge in the moment than invest in the long term. Most people want the thrill of reacting, the rush of impulse, the comfort of excuses. Few are willing to hold back, to stay measured, to build steadily. But those few, those who practice self-control, become leaders without asking. Their strength is undeniable, and their power lasts. Self-control is also a form of freedom. Think about it. When you're not a prisoner of your emotions, you make clearer decisions. When you're not a prisoner of your mouth, you protect your reputation. When you're not a prisoner of money, you move through life with option. Self-control is not about restriction, it's about liberation. It frees you from the chaos of impulses and puts you in charge of your own life. Most people think freedom comes from doing whatever you want, but true freedom comes from being able to say no to your impulses, to your weaknesses, to the things that sabotage your growth. If you want to see how powerful self-control is, look at history. The greatest warriors, thinkers, and leaders were not the ones who lost themselves in rage, greed, or recklessness. They were the ones who could endure, who could wait, who could plan. They didn't rush into every fight. They chose their battles. They didn't let every insult shake them. They held their composure. They didn't waste their resources. They managed them. That's why they outlasted others. Self-control made them unstoppable. And here's the truth you need to sit with. Self-control is not something you're born with. It's something you build. Every time you resist saying something you don't need to say, you're building it. Every time you take a breath before reacting, you're building it. Every time you save instead of spending, you're building it. These small acts stack up. Over time, they form the armor that protects you and the engine that propels you. So if you want true power, stop chasing control of everything outside of you. Start mastering what's within you. Control your mouth, control your mood, control your money, strengthen your discipline one decision at a time, because the one who conquers themselves is the one who is truly free, truly respected, and truly powerful. Self-control is the highest form of power, and once you master it, no one, not circumstance, not people, not life can take it away from you. At the end of the day, life doesn't ask you to control the world. It asks you to control yourself. Your mouth, your mood, and your money are not small details. They are the three pillars that shape how far you go, how strong you stand, and how much respect you command. If you let your mouth run wild, it will destroy opportunities. If you let your mood dictate your actions, it will sabotage your future. If you let your money control you, it will trap you. But when you discipline yourself in these three areas, you step into a kind of power that can't be faked, bought, or stolen. The loudest person in the room isn't the strongest. The one who brags the most isn't the richest. The one who reacts the fastest isn't the wisest. True strength is quiet, controlled, and deliberate. When you master your words, your emotions, and your finances, you become untouchable. You rise above the noise, you stop living on defense, and start moving with purpose. So here's the challenge. Don't waste another day being careless with your mouth, reckless with your mood, or sloppy with your money. Build discipline like your life depends on it, because it does. Discipline is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. It's what turns struggle into strength, chaos into clarity, and potential into power. Control yourself and you control your world. And once you do that, nothing and no one can ever truly control you.